Well, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for coming on this Thursday to our Title Thursday class. So today we are going to experience something that is going to give you guys as the real estate agents the utmost, absolute, amazing tool to get you in front of your sellers prepared, ready, and experienced with what they are expecting to net when they are trying to sell their home. So we want to give you something from our app that's going to take you through that piece of the journey, so that way when you go sit at your listing appointment and you want to write that listing agreement, you have all the tools in place where even if you don't know what it says or means, you have the ability to explain it, and it'll be right there in front of them to show them what they can ultimately sell their home for and know that they can get what they're expecting from that sale. So from us as the title company to you as the agents, we want to offer this tool to you, and it's free, that gives you that ability to really showcase your expertise in a highlight. We want to give you everything possible. So from here, I'm Anna Scrima with Title Partners West Palm Beach, and I am the title agent here, and I am the manager on staff. What that means is nothing. My team without me and without us together is nothing. The processor, the closers, the beautiful Kiri, our client services, our opener, everybody down the line through the post-closing, we are one team. And for us, that's important. I don't want to be above anybody or less than anybody. We are all equal. We're all equal in experience. We're all equal all across the board. So please, please, please know that we're here as your partners through this transaction. So with that, I'm going to introduce Kiri. She is our customer service rep, where she is, she's our hands-on. So you guys have questions going through the process, she's our face. So,
hi guys, my name is Kirielys Mora. Welcome again to Title Thursdays. I want to let everybody know that we will be hosting, me and Anna, along with our title girls, Chrisley and Victoria, we will be hosting Title Thursdays every Thursday at 11:30. So we all want to learn and get as much knowledge as possible. Some of the things that I do, some of the things that I do is client services. I help you prepare for your listing appointment. You want to go to your listing appointment as prepared as possible. You want to stand out from other agents. You want to go prepared with the preliminary HUD. Today we're going to explain the app that you can just plug in your numbers yourself, and it's going to take you less than 5 minutes. We want to have you be prepared that the sellers are going to be impressed by you. However, if you are not tax savvy, that's what I'm here for. I am more than welcome to help you get a preliminary HUD. I know some of the sellers are also not tax savvy, so I will print out a preliminary HUD. Also, my job is to get you to the finish line. With a successful closing, you know, we're in the business of referral, so you definitely want your client to refer you to somebody else, and you want a happy seller, a happy buyer, and I make sure I fill in the gaps that we all get to the finish line with a successful closing. So today we are gonna go over our app, and there's 5 things that you need to know to fill in to get the seller's net sheet. So one of the things that you need, which is super important, is the property address. Then we go on with the sales price. And then you also want to know, and that your sellers know, how much is your brokerage fee. Also, if you are going to charge your seller a transaction fee, make sure you put it on there. You want to be as accurate as possible, so your estimate is almost dead on. Another thing that you need is the payoff. These are the 5 things that you need, and within 5 minutes, you're giving your seller or your buyer a very close estimate. That way you look like the superstar when you're at the closing table, and most likely, I like to go a little over of what the closing cost is gonna be, so you always wanna have a good surprise, that they are netting more than what they expected. You never wanna have a client be like, hey, I was expecting 200 and we're at, $5,000 less. What does that mean? you are signing a commission waiver. And nobody wants to do that, okay?
No.
So we're here to help you to make sure that you are not signing a commission waiver. We're not calling Ismael, and we're here for the business of making money and for referrals. So I'll go ahead and pass the computer to Anna, and she's gonna go ahead and explain the app. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll go around the room, but go ahead and pull out your cell phones. We're gonna pull it out in the computer, but you guys pull it up as an app on your phone.
That's right. So as Kiri mentioned, we're going to do this very unconventional because most classrooms, they say, put your phones away. We don't want to hear them. We don't want none of that. Well, we want the opposite. So go ahead and grab your phones out. We're going to go ahead and go into the App Store. And what we'll do is we'll put the app directly on the phone for you right now. So you guys don't have to worry about ever having that.
Click on the computer because the app is too long.
Yes.
If you guys can see it there, you can hear it.
Okay, Anna, come do this on the computer. Let me know if anybody is having a problem.
Yes.
I'll come around the room, but we're gonna do it on the computer, and then we'll also go over on the app.
Yeah, so we have two ways of getting this app to you. We have it through the phone and we have it through the computer. So through the phone and through the computer is the same exact way. Where you would search is Title Partner FL space and the word 1. With that, you'll be able to grab the app. And if you do not want to follow through with this or put it on your app right now, it's okay, you don't have to. We just would like to, you guys can actively do it with us if you want. It's really your choice.
It's gonna ask you for a title representative. Again, my name is Kirielys Mora. I am the title representative here. So it gives us a couple names, but if you can go ahead and click my name.
Yep. Good. If you have any questions or need anything, just put your hand up. We'll be more than happy to help out. And it's the Title Partners 1.
Do it on the computer.
And then the way you know is the right link is our icon here. This is what you're looking for. You're looking for the actual icon here.
If you guys didn't find it on the app, it's a QR code right on your water bottles as well.
What you find on the actual phone is going to be the same exact mirror imaging that we're pulling up on the computer.
Guys, we want you to participate, so we're going to show two property addresses. So if you want like a personal property address or something that you're already working on, go ahead and give us the address and Anna will plug in the numbers.
That's right. Of course.
Do we need a couple more minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give them a few more minutes. Once you get into it, it'll ask you to log in. Go ahead and set up your credentials. It's just your name and your password. You should be okay.
Guys, this is an excellent tool. It also helps you with branding, your own branding, your marketing. It's going to help you with the seller's closing costs. It's going to help you with the buyer's closing costs, how much cash to close they need to come up with. This app is absolutely amazing for all agents. And I mean, it gives you market analysts. It tells you the benefit between renting or owning. I mean, we'll go into more details and further classes and what the app has to offer. However, today we're just going to do the seller's net sheet.
For the cities, only says Texas.
Show me. Oh, sorry, I can't go past the blue. I got yelled at. See, I don't listen. Sorry, Ismael.
Should I partnership? No, this is not.
Yes. Exactly.
There are.
And then select your stick.
What you do, guys, is go ahead and walk it through, and then we'll show you guys actually how to
You
do it on your
can
phone.
do West Palm Beach.
So we'll do
Yeah, are you
one
local
here.
to West Palm?
We'll do one on the internet. Anna,
Let's just do it here.
I would do Broward then.
And then we'll sit with you guys one-on-one right after class. But let's just, we'll keep this,
So which
get this here.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
Let's show them how to do it there. The good thing about this, guys, is that you can always see this class
Get on the
afterwards
computer.
as many
It's
times
you to
as
do
you
it.
want to help you walk through it, you know.
Yeah,
Let's-
more than
let's
happy
show
to
the
help you
benefits
guys.
there. So go ahead and just to, go ahead
Thank you.
and do the first example.
Okay, wonderful. So who currently has an active listing? Or maybe has just closed on an active listing? Or has an address that you would want to use, or maybe something that you have in the works?
You can work in 2123.
I'm going to do 2123. Mm-hmm.
Belcara, Belcara, Court.
Royal Palm
Royal
Beach?
Palm Beach. Now remember this, guys. Even though you might not catch on to it right this second, it's not important to catch on to it right this second. You can go back and see this. You can see this, or come into the title, and any of the young ladies in there will walk you right through it.
Yeah, and you guys
I know
can
this is
call
new.
us and
I know
or
it's
email.
new, but let's keep going with that there.
All right, perfect. So the example that we used is 2123 Belcara Court. And what that does is when you put the property address in the system, it's always gonna 2123 Belcara Court. It's gonna give this pop-up. This pop-up is important because this actually connects this this software to what the tax collectors websites currently have for this property. So this will always be next.
So this is good for any. This is good for any property in any county of the state of Florida. Okay, so it's phenomenal. Doesn't matter where you're selling at: Ocala, Orlando, Pensacola, Tampa, Lehigh Acres, Broward, Dade. It's phenomenal.
For example, if you did one in Broward and then you type in a different address, it picks up,
Right.
hey, we were in Broward, and then, yeah, it picks up which is the county, and it will ask you,
Correct.
do you want to switch to Broward or Palm Beach County? It picks it up.
Yes.
Okay.
In this next section, I'm just going to skip through because I'm going to actually show you how to do this once we're in there. When you get more familiar with the app, you'll see that you can start, putting the interest rates there. So I want you guys to pay attention at the top section of the page. So this is where I'm at right here. So right now I'm in the seller section. We also have the buyer, calculators, estimates, and premium. So today we'll focus on the seller, but I'm also going to jump into calculators for you because there are some cool features in there that can only benefit you guys moving forward. So right now we'll start with the address. So we opened up the address. We had it added in at the beginning. We're going to say that they have a conventional loan right now in place. We have a sales price. We'll keep it at the $355. And then you have your broker fee here. What's cool about the broker fee is anything that has this little settings wheel, click it. It's going to open up a separate box where you can ultimately change the fees.
Okay.
So,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Let's
No,
go
you're
into
good.
that. Whatever your listing agreement says has to match the MLS report, okay? So if the listing agreement reads that it's 6% or 5%, and it's 2.5% for the cooperating broker, it must match like that. You guys ever seen sometimes where you freak out at the closing with the CD that the listing agent maybe is getting 4 and you're getting 2, or something to that fact? The listing agreement must match. So this is where you're going to be able to put the difference in. Usually we don't do that here. If we're 5%, 4%, or 6%, that's where you're going to put it in there.
absolutely. And anytime you change anything on inside the settings tab on these wheels, it's going to ask you if you want to do it just for this transaction or anything moving forward. So answer it how you feel is fit for you. So for this estimate only, it is currently calculating, and it'll keep calculating as we add things and as we minus things from this list. So say here, you know that this house has extensive repairs. We already know that the seller has given you guys the information that the windows got broken yesterday and they're gonna be replacing them. You can add a repair amount in here at any amount.
Which will be a cost to the seller.
Which will be a cost to the seller.
Because today's class is cost to the seller.
That's right. And miscellaneous is another beautiful feature for this program, because this also allows you, if you know it's in an association, or say you know there is just costs that the seller has brought to your attention.
Assessments.
Yeah, just anything that they are aware about, put it in here for them, because they're aware, you're aware, so might as well put it in their numbers.
This is also where you add your transaction fee.
Precisely.
That's right.
And you guys as listing agents must ask your seller, are there any upcoming assessments? Are there any assessments that are due? And what is the HOA fee, per month or quarterly? Okay, those are questions that you guys must ask.
Absolutely right. And for the miscellaneous bucket, it's broken up into two sections. At the top, it's where you're adding to the seller's closing costs. So what is the seller expecting the buyer to give them? Or the bottom, you're subtracting it from the seller's closing costs. What is the seller going to be giving to the buyer?
That's if, right now, the way you're going to write it up, it's going to be with the seller giving no seller contribution whatsoever.
Right.
Okay? The great thing about this is saved. So now, let's say you get an offer in, and that offer comes in and says, well, we want your seller to pay for, let's say, $5,000 of buyer's closing costs. So you're going to come back into the system where it's saved at. You're going to put in the seller contribution that Anna's talking about. And now when you email this to your seller, it's going to give them a very, it's never precise, but this system is designed to give the seller very, very close. I'm talking about a couple $100 difference, okay? Because no seller likes bad surprises. There's not a single seller that wants to come to the closing and they expect to get $278,000, and at the closing, when they come out, they're gonna walk away with $200 and, for example, $73,000. So seller's gonna be really upset at who? They should be upset with the listing agent that didn't do their job correctly on knowing how to do a seller's net proceeds, correct? You don't blame the title agency. Title agency is only going to put in there what information you guys give them. You guys should know this, okay? Right. So mostly what happens is the listing agency ends up giving what's called a commission waiver. That's $5,000 coming out of your pocket. Why? Because your seller's net proceeds were not close to it. So when you do know and you have all the right answers with the payoff and all these questions that Anna's going over now, there should be no bad surprises. This should be a very pleasant experience, a very pleasant closing for your sellers, because as Anna and Kirielys mentioned it earlier, we work based on what? Referrals. So we have to do excellent customer service to get what? Referrals. So this is why this tool is so important, this app.
Absolutely. And when you're on the back end, you have two ways to adding numbers in this system. You can do it from a percentage standpoint or a flat fee. So say we know that the seller's got contribution of whatever, $1,000, right? So we'll just hit done, done, and it'll start adding. How you know you've added things into the miscellaneous bucket is it says the word stored. Otherwise it'll be blank. If it's blank, there's nothing in there. If it says stored, we have something in there. The RE taxes are super special because, again, this app actually links with the county out there, the property appraiser, the tax collector. So it gives a decent breakdown of accuracy when it comes to the real estate taxes. You can always waive this and not put it on there if you think, oh my God, if I show taxes and they're incorrect, the seller may freak out. Then you can ultimately remove this. Anything that has this gear, my friends, is something that's editable. Okay, just remember that. but we do recommend that we keep that RE tax in there for whatever the amount that it pulls. That's just something it automatically
Without a
pulls. Yep. Now the seller loan balance, this is your payoff. What's special about this app is, say your seller, he's not able to come up with a mortgage statement. It's an old loan. He doesn't really have much information, but because your communication with him, you know that he's got a $70,000 loan and it was at 6% just by hearsay from your communication. That is enough for you guys to actually go and grab the payoff information without knowing anything else about his loan. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do that after this section because it's back in the calculators.
Here's the thing. Would you guys, what she meant by that was, why would a seller not know, okay, why would a seller not know what they owe on the property or anything like that? Because they're not getting statements. They put on automatic pay. It's been on automatic pay now for a couple of years. They haven't seen a statement. It automatically comes out. So when you go to talk to your seller, the seller's going to go, oh, I really don't know. Here's another important monster question that you guys must write down and remember, okay? Whether it's a memory record, you're gonna write it down in your, in your head, or you write it down. Ask them if there's a second mortgage. A lot of people have always done, before 2008, there was 100% financing. There's still 100% financing. That means it's a first and second mortgage. Some of the second mortgages are forgivable and others are not forgivable. Now that is a monster surprise when you go to find out that the seller's going to again walk away with $178,000 and there was a second mortgage of $30,000 and now the seller's going to get at closing $140,000. Now here's what's going to happen. Realtors will come out and blame, oh, it's the title agency. No, it's you, the realtor, that should have asked the question. Hi, seller, how are you? Is there anyone else on title with you? No. Okay, is there an HOA? Is there any assessments? Is there a first mortgage? Is there a second mortgage? When you first signed the loan, when you first signed for the loan, did you sign one loan or two loans? Okay, those are questions that you guys, capitalization must know. Those are things that you must know. And those are the questions that you must ask.
Absolutely. So, being that this is a new relationship for you guys, because most sellers, if they're not your friends, then you may not know them because you sent out, a listing ad and you want people to call you and they end up calling you and say, hey, I want you to sell my house, and you don't know that person. If you don't know that person, you definitely don't know the house. If you don't know the person, you really aren't going to know too much about them. So the one thing you really want to capitalize is, how do I get the most information out of this seller so I can give them the accuracy that they deserve, right? Because that's your job, that's your goal. You want to give them what they need so you can remain looking like stars, right? So it's important to just touch on every single question. Ask them, what don't I know about this property? What can you share with me that I'm just not familiar with from this conversation? Just probing questions that can just, get some more information. And it's only to help you guys out so you can do your best work for this seller,
And you have a pleasant, easy flowing closing. That's the most important thing right there.
That's right. Step one is getting in the door, getting them comfortable with you, giving them their experience, because your relationships are now growing together. Next step is bringing it into the title company. But this step for you, this is way before us. This is you winning that bid. This is you getting that job for them and really going out there and making that relationship so you guys can grow together.
Let me ask you guys a question. A seller, if you were a seller, would you like to do business with an experienced realtor or someone that stands in front of you and they're like clueless? Experience, correct? Yes. There you go.
Exactly. And even if you're brand new in the game, with a tool like this doesn't make you look brand new. This makes you look very, very experienced.
It's a very accurate tool.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for you because I can't expect for you guys to walk in here right now 30 minutes later, I'm an expert at it. I go, oh my God. It's not going to happen, okay? So that's why we prefer to go through with the class. Then we'll sit with you guys. Just walk in. Any of the young ladies over there will be dying to help you and show you with it.
Yes.
And then you can practice this at home.
Yeah,
I like how we
100%.
practice this.
We encourage you guys to come in, so come on in. Sorry.
Yeah, it keeps turning off, so
Do that.
it's got a little timer on it.
Got it. So that's your payoff. So your seller loan balance is any payoffs in total that you would like to add into this. And then also their interest rate. Whatever they say is their interest rate that they're aware of from that loan.
Yeah, or they remember more or less. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be exact.
It doesn't have to be exact. And then obviously a closing date. When would you guys like to close? And that'll give us some.
Give it 30 days. You got your listing, give it 30 days.
Yeah.
As soon as you put your listing active, give it 30 days.
Exactly. And then when you hit this compute button, it's now going to show you all the calculations here. So right now with this example, the net to close for this loan with the criteria that we put in there, they'll be netting $263,437.11.
Here,
Obviously, it's an estimate.
I'm going to give you guys a tip, all right? You know how you guys, realtors have always said, oh my God, I'm waiting to get a preliminary HUD. What is a preliminary HUD? It's just an estimate of the seller's closing costs. Why would you want to have to wait for someone to give you what's called a preliminary HUD? Why don't you learn this system, which is so simple?
Yeah.
We would have been done by now. That's how simple it is to do. Once you know the steps, what they are. So it's really important to know these.
Yeah.
That you can actually do this. And sometimes you're sitting right at the seller's home, or you just met the client right there, okay? And you're gonna plug it all in and just email it right to them. They're gonna get it from your home. Instead of from their home, instead of you going over to their property, right? And say, okay, I'll get back with you tomorrow, and I'm gonna go get a preliminary HUD. I'm gonna show you what the seller's expenses are. Guess what's gonna happen between the time that you leave from there and that you go back, okay? Now go to the title agency, whatever title agency it is, or you order it to get it. I mean, the title agents are not, and the processors are not just sitting there like they're freed up, like twiddling their thumbs, they're busy. So you're gonna have to wait for them to be able to put this together for you. Now, what can happen between, let's say, 8 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night to the next morning that you're gonna get this?
They interview somebody else.
Yeah, someone can call, hola prima, hey prima, ¿cómo está? Ya voy a vender mi casa. Who are you using? Well, I've got this phenomenal realtor. Her name is Ada Garcia. Really? Why don't you use my husband? My husband's a realtor. Why are you using Ada? Guess who lost the client right there? You did. Okay? So give it to him on the spot.
That's
because it's like that. I mean, unfortunately. It doesn't quite happen, but professionalism to me is everything. And this you guys can do within minutes. This takes minutes when you actually practice it, okay? I mean, you haven't seen a surgeon yet that they've given a knife that just came freshly out of medical school, right? And they go, okay, there is the first patient. Here's the scalpel. And if it's me, man, I'm running out of there. Am I your first patient? Done. Take the tubes off. Anesthesia, take it off. So how could you guys expect to be the same thing with you guys, Or if you're my lawyer, and I'm going to go, so how many cases like this have you handled before? You're my first. Okay. It was really nice to know you. Ciao. I forgot I have a lunch engagement.
The good thing about this app is you're going to get that listing agreement signed before you walk out the door.
It's phenomenal.
So if the seller agrees with the numbers, you can email them their numbers. You can text them their numbers. If they have a printer, send it to their printer. Have them sign it that they agreed that they're going to be e-signing. That they agreed that they're going to get 263, and everybody's happy once they get more. These are estimates, and like I said earlier, you want to estimate a little more so there's no surprises.
Exactly. I want to be high instead of low, so there aren't bad surprises. I love when I go to a closing table and the seller expects to get $278,000 and they walk away with 283 or 284.
Right.
I am the hero. You had a question? Sorry.
Well, I just figured it out.
Figured it out? Okay.
I was going to say, how can you email it?
Right.
Excellent.
So here's something that I want to mention to you, and I would like Anna to go back at this. How do you really calculate the balance, what's owed on their first mortgage? So you're going to look at the closing statement. Usually they have the closing statement. Obviously, I was very exaggerated, and I gave a story where an individual has not seen a closing statement in a while, they can go online and get the closing statement. And if not, I'll help you go online to whatever servicing company there is, and we'll get the mortgage statement. Now, here's the thing, guys. When you look at it, there's a payoff on there. That is not well, it doesn't say a payoff. It says balance owed. Listen to this. It's really important. Especially for what Kirielys just said. She likes to be high, and so do I, instead of low, and so do you guys. So when you look at it and it says balance owed, and we're going to reuse a new example, and the new example will be $30,000. But you can't put $130,000 in there. This is what you're going to put in there. Look at the mortgage payment per month, correct? And let's say the mortgage payment is $1,500. You guys need to multiply that mortgage payment by 2. So 1,500 and 1,500 is what? 3,000. So they owe, what did I say, 180? All right? So the payoff that you're going to use here, and that's the one I want you to go back to and put it in there. I want you guys to put 180 plus 3,000 is 183,000. That is the payoff that you guys are going to use, and I promise you, you're not going to fail. Okay? You will not fail with this here. And you'll be higher than lower, because bad surprises is the example I told you where they're getting less at the closing table. Good surprises is they're getting more. That's what I like. Because I always tell my clients, listen, I'm doing this estimate. It's just a really high estimate, okay? And that's what they want to know. They want to hear that you're not giving them the lowest case scenario, because it makes you look bad. So if we put in 183, now what are you going to walk away with? Look at this.
Now you're just under 150.
149,323. And remember, I'm going to tell you, my seller, remember this, because I am calculating high. Your payoff is going to be a lot less, you know. And at the same token, when I tell you that your payoff is going to be a lot less, I will immediately come back unless you have any penalties owed or you haven't paid any back taxes. All your taxes are due. All your taxes have been paid. Your insurance, they don't have forced place insurance on your home, correct? These are little notes that you guys need to know. Hold on, must know. As a professional realtor, we need to know every aspect of the real estate world and everything. And we need to know how to ask the right questions, because at one point they could have put in forced place insurance. What's forced place insurance? Well, you guys know here in South Florida, a lot of insurance companies are just dropping like this. They're not insuring people. So if there's not insurance on the mortgage, guess what the bank's going to do? Put insurance on it. And say the insurance might be X amount of dollars. Well, forced place insurance is triple the amount. Sometimes, it's high. So you need to ask them, was your home ever without insurance? It's always had insurance? Okay, great. What the taxes have been paid? Great, okay? Now you know that there are no hidden surprises that are gonna be coming up. So this 183 is a pretty accurate number to use, okay?
The good thing about the app also, it literally breaks it down. It starts with the sales price. If we're looking on the right-hand side, it says the sales price, then it says the balance. That's the loan balance. And then it's exactly telling them what the closing cost is gonna be. Because they're gonna be like, why so little? Why am I only getting 150? You're telling them that the closing cost, including commissions and what the title company is charging and transfer fees and all of the small miscellaneous things that go with the closing cost, that is being broken down into the 23. So you want to let them know exactly that their balance is 183. That's on them, what their mortgage is, but closing cost is 23.
What's inside that closing cost? Documentary stamps. You guys know that a seller has to pay Florida taxes. So you've got 0.70 on every $100. That's called documentary stamps. That's included in there. Title policy, it's a must. There has to be, and that's a promulgated fee. So it doesn't matter what title agency you use. It's a state Florida fee, and it's whatever the sales price is. If the sales price is $500,000, this is the title fee. If it's $350,000, that's the title. 1.5 million, 2 million, that's going to be the same. So all of that, it's already included in there, guys. You guys don't even need to do the math. It does it for you.
That's right. So, and the way I open this up is right underneath the calculation on this page. I just went here to detailed closing costs, and that opens it up.
There you go.
Now, these details already include your title charges.
See the documentary stamps at the top?
Super important.
See the recording fees? Everything's there, seller contribution. Honestly, at first, you're not going to put seller contribution, correct? Are we okay? Are we clear with that?
Yeah, no,
because
that was
you don't
something
know,
we added.
you don't know if they're going to send you an offer asking you seller contribution or not. But if they send you 3 different offers, then you're going to program them all, and you're going to tailor it per each one. So if there's one that they're asking for $5,000 seller contribution, you'll put it in there, you'll put the name on it, and you'll send it to your seller so they can look at it and let them choose which one is the one that they're going to decide to go with, okay? I mean, I've had, as a listing agent, I've had offers that they've offered more money than the other ones, like $5,000 or $10,000 more. But we look at it, and depending on the way it's structured, the way the contract was written, the way the conversation that I had with the loan officer, the seller has felt more comfortable with going with the one for less money. Why? Because that seems like to be a more stable one that's going to come through. The other one seems completely unstable. Sure, it looks good on paper of $10,000 more. A lot of stuff and little details that we must know. So here is all of your all your closing expenses.
Right.
But did you see how the system did it for you?
It does it for you, but you want to look like the expert.
Exactly.
So if I were you and you're at the listing appointment, just go ahead and open that detail and go line by line. And literally,
Exactly.
you just have to read it. It's self-explanatory. So
Exactly.
everything explains itself. You also want to tell the sellers how much you're making for commission and how much you have to pay the other agent. Because when you tell a seller, most of the time, they think that the whole closing costs you're taking home. The 23,000.
Yeah, we wish, right?
I mean, we
Doesn't work
wish,
like that.
but you let them know that the buyer's agent is getting this, the listing agent is getting that, and literally you just read line by line, and that way everything is crystal clear. I go to closing tables, and I've seen so many agents that don't explain absolutely nothing. I sit at the table and I'm like, have you guys seen the numbers? They're like, no. Do you know how much you're
my
getting?
God, yes.
No. You don't want to be that agent. You want to be the agent
Yes.
that you sent them the preliminary HUD from day one. And so your number is very close to what the HUD is at the closing table.
We really are. This app is phenomenal, guys. And if you do it the way we're talking about, I'm telling you, they're going to get more at closing than the seller's net proceeds, and it's going to make you look like a hero. It's a phenomenal app. Let me ask you guys a question. Once they are familiar with this app right here, how long does it literally take for them to plug in the numbers and have a very close estimate? How long does it take them?
I mean, myself, that I do it every day, it takes me less than 2 minutes. 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. Like all I need is Ada tells me, hey, I'm getting this listing. Give me the property address, what you're charging, transaction fees, compute. I send it over. I literally text it to her, email, whatever she needs. However, somebody that is getting familiar with it, just like how we are on Instagram, as we're on Facebook and we're scrolling, this is just going to come so natural to you. It's really a user-friendly app. So it's going to take you, I'm telling you, once you get 5 practices in, it's going to take you 5 minutes.
Now I want to ask you guys a question. Let's turn these questions around and ask you guys a question. Who do you guys want to be? The one that you go in front of a seller and you're like, I'm going to go back to my broker. I'm going to go back to my title agent. They're really nice. They're professional. And I'll get this done, and I'll send you an estimate over here by tomorrow. Then you get over there. They're busy. They want to get to you as quickly as possible. Or do you want to be the person that sits there and within 2 minutes, sitting off of what? Off of your cell phone? Wait, did you guys hear that? Off of your cell phone. You're plugging in the numbers, and then right from there, you're going to email it right to their email. And it's going to literally take you, what, 2 minutes.
And if they're not happy with what they're netting, you can go ahead and play with the numbers. Obviously, you do want to run with the sales price. I mean, you want to, you can play, you can.
Let's be clear
increase-
on this, sorry.
But however-
Commission only, documentary stamps, you got nothing, title
no, you
policy,
can't play with those
payoff,
numbers.
commission, guys. Are we clear on that?
Commission and the sales price, and make sure,
Yeah,
I mean,
and the sales price.
you as an expert, don't, you know, you want to go ahead and give them comps because, I mean, you're in the business of selling. You don't want to list a property and at super high price and then you're not going to sell it and then your listing expires.
Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
don't be afraid sometimes.
You have to be realistic with them.
Yeah, when you look over, and sometimes you've done your CMAs, and it's a little bit overpriced, but take a look, has the home itself had a lot of upgrades? Does the home have a lot to offer, the neighborhood, the area? And has the home had, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars been put into it? Even though the last sales price, let's say in the neighborhood, was $356 or $359, something like that. So I feel comfortable that I can probably ask, you know, $395 or more. No, because the home has been totally upgraded from kitchen to bathrooms to flooring, electrical, lighting, you name it. That costs a lot of money. I don't know if you guys have been to Home Depot yet lately to go buy something, right? So yeah, buyers realize that.
Yeah, and not only that, you know, as representing the sellers, sometimes you'll go in front of the sellers and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I wanna make $900,000 off of this." Okay, amazing. That means you got a fantastic property. You go to the property appraiser, you start doing your research, you realize that you could probably get them more. And then you go to the app and you start comparing and you start seeing and you start making these little tiny adjustments to where you can go back to them and say, okay, this is what you were expecting at this cost. Now what I can give you is actually I can get you a little bit more at this sales price because this is what the market is actually calling for right now. So you have the ability to show them what their expectation is, and if you know as that agent that you can actually get them more, you can utilize the app and bring them into a different visual that actually shows them a better number, and then of course they're going to sign your listing. You know what I mean? If you can get them more, they're not going to be like, no, we're not going to do that.
How do you know that? Look at the other comparables that, like the actives and pending and sold.
Yes.
Take a look at the pictures. See if they still are, you know, completely outdated with the purple carpet from 1978, and they just put in there,
Pink
you know, a
bathrooms.
beautiful, brand new, you know, yes, up to date property. Of course, you can ask $50,000, $60,000 more, or God knows more, because whoever moves in is going to appreciate that. So obviously that other homes that have sold, they've not been updated. They've got the 1970, I don't know, carpets in there. I don't know what colors purple.
What's wrong with the shag carpet?
Yeah, okay, sorry about that. If any of you guys have the shag carpets, I take it back.
I just want to say I went to a listing presentation and the seller said she made me stand out from other
Precisely.
realtors because she's listed different properties and no realtor has ever shown
Come
her
prepared.
a seller's negotiation
Exactly.
during the listing presentation.
I remember a story you told me one time, and the gentleman does a heck of a lot of business in this area here, and he was very, very impressed.
Oh,
And yes, he was very impressed the way that you presented yourself, the way you handled yourself, and you've got a relationship with that guy, and the guy's huge. He does a lot of business here. But any time that you take a client over there, you've got preference over that. You know why? Because he trusts you, that you are a knowledgeable realtor. You're not, that he doesn't have to deal with someone who doesn't know what they're doing. Did I explain that correctly, or
He
can I?
signed the closing papers on the hood of my car. Remember?
Yes, yeah. And I know who the gentleman is. The gentleman is a phenomenal realtor, been around for a long time, like myself. Like I'm telling you, I'm going to look at your offers, and I'm going to look at them and see which one of the offers is the best one to go with. And I'm going to advise my sellers on that there. But it all has to do with what? One simple thing, knowledge. Knowledge. And when you've got knowledge, you feel very confident of yourself when you walk up. And I remember that story. That was a phenomenal story. But that came from what? Like what you're doing today. It's being here. Confidence, knowledge, and you're here again learning, advancing your real estate career. Absolutely.
We're always learning, especially in this industry. Things are constantly changing.
Changing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So Anna is going to show you guys the calculator, and then Afterwards, we're gonna move on to the seller's breakdown costs.
So this is the coolest, one of the cooler features too in this app. It's you have calculators. This calculator tab, I mean, honestly, it will give you experience without knowing much. You can literally calculate if it's good to buy now or later, monthly affordability. If they tell you I can only afford a certain amount, you can literally open that up, calculate what they're asking, and it'll show you, okay, if your purchase price is at this amount, you can afford this amount. But I want to show you one better. So we have our title and our closing fees are here. That's us here at the title company. So that'll show you exactly the fees that we have. This is obviously our app, so it's going to tie into our fees. Our fees are what the closing costs are. Right here, I found this to be one of the cooler features because, like I said, you want to look so impressive in front of your seller without having to do much. And say they're not sure about their payoff, they just couldn't figure out how to get you the information for their loan balance, but you do know a few things. You do know that the original house sold for, let's just use $200,000 for an example. When you were speaking to him, you remember they said that they put 20% down and they had an interest rate back in the day of 6%. Back in the day.
3, 4.
Kind of. So say your loan didn't start last year. Say it started, 3 years ago on this day. I don't know. We're going to go August. Yeah. And we're going to run it for 3 years. They've had this mortgage for 3 years. When you hit compute, this will tell you that their payoff should average about $153,000 today. So this, if you don't know your payoff, but you do know those little details from your conversations, you can jump in here and still put your payoff information because now you've calculated something that is going to be super close to what their expectation is.
I want to ask you guys two things. We've given you right now 2 ways of calculating a payoff, correct? Which one's more fancier? The one that I did is just look at the mortgage statement, look at the mortgage payment, multiply it by 2, add that to the balance owed, right? That's pretty simple. But when you do something like this, that you're sitting in front of your client with a laptop or something like that, does this make you look super professional or not, or what? So either way that you decide to do this, whether it's just look at a mortgage statement, look at the balance owed, right? Look at the monthly payment, multiply that by 2, add that to the balance owed, or do this, it's going to work out to the same thing. I promise you that, okay? But this one here, people nowadays love something that's called visual, okay? Now, we could do a class, and our class could be a couple little chairs. It could be not as fancy as this. How would you feel coming into a classroom that you're going to sit in there, a couple of little simple chairs, none of this fancy gadgets and stuff like that? It's the same thing. You love visual, right? So do clients. So this one here, I love this tool because this tool right here, they appreciate it. They love seeing technology and that you are on top of technology. Okay, so that's a great tool.
Yeah, I really did love that one too.
Again, guys, you guys can go ahead and come. We're open door policy, so you guys can go ahead and ask Anna or myself. We're always in the office, or you can give me a call, and I will definitely go over the app and all its features. Okay. We'll go ahead and go over all these features. That way you are an expert. And again, it just takes 5 minutes.
Expert. I love that word. Thank you. I love that word.
The section that said rent versus buy, is that a sheet that we can share on social media?
Absolutely.
That section that you just showed us?
Do the calculations out, and then, you can share it however you want. In this app, that's what I love about this app too. You can PDF things, you can email them, you can save them to your desktop, you can text message, it's your world. So however you want to get the information out to the world on your behalf, it's here. So yes, it does. Another thing I want to show you on the seller side. So when you're calculating your seller side and you're at the listing appointment and they're like, not sure if I'm gonna sell today, not sure if I'm gonna list, they're just kind of on the fence, right?
They're thinking about it, right?
They're thinking about it, they need more time. You have another amazing feature in here, and that's called the holding cost. Holding costs will actually give them an idea of how much it's gonna cost them if they hold it over a certain period of time. So you can say, yeah, you want to sell in 3 years? Great. This is what it's going to cost you to hold the property for that period of time. So it has these little features that just allow you to push your business just that much further and be knowledgeable for your client in front of you.
And you're giving them accurate information here too. We're not talking about accuracy. These are all estimate. You've never gone to a mortgage lender that has given you an accuracy of closing. It's called what? A good faith estimate, correct? A GFE, always. So it's the same thing with the title agency. But if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Let's do it right.
That's right.
Okay, so we wanted to move on with the seller's breakdown. I wanted to ask you guys a question. Do you guys know who picks title in each county? Yes? Okay. Well, in West Palm, Port St. Lucie up, seller picks title. In Broward and in Miami, buyer picks title. However, it's whatever you put on the contract. Just because you are in Miami doesn't have to mean that the buyer's picking title. Whoever picks title is paying title insurance, and it's per the contract. Everything starts with what is stated on the contract. You guys can't leave this out in the contract of who is picking title. I myself, if you have a listing and you are using Title Partners, I put it on the listing that Title Partners is hosting this closing.
It's not a law that the seller picks title in Palm Beach County, St. Lucie County, and from there up, correct? There's no law. There's no law that Broward and Dade buyer picks title. It's just a simple what? Rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Just a rule of thumb. Just a business practice that has just taken place forever and ever. Me as an investor, I like picking title always. Why? Because I'm an investor. I like reselling the properties, correct? And I want my title clear as daylight. And when I deal with investors, without a doubt, we always put down buyer picks title. I don't care where it's at. Broward, it could be in Pensacola. I don't care where it's at because there's no law. It's not a law, it's just a rule of thumb, guys. Remember that.
But you have to ask, because I had two lands last week, and the seller's agent said, no, the seller's choosing. I said, no.
Yeah, you're not going to lose the sell from it.
But I explained to him, and then I made up, and then now I'm using.
We're using our titles, exactly. And at the same token, you know what?
To have a kind of composition.
Yes, you know what?
Obviously, it's the seller.
Educating them.
And obviously, it's a seller's choice. So.
Yeah.
So, but you have to come and
Educate them. Educate them.
And explain to him. And then he lied to the seller and told him that Holly is.
Now, I'm going to ask you guys as a seller. I'm going to ask you guys are all sellers of a property. I'm the buyer. So I'm going to pick title. And right now, buying a home is a bidding war. It's the highest bidder. It really is. It's almost like an auction. Who offers the highest? So if I put down that the buyer's going to pick for title, it's going to give me what's called a leverage. It's going to give me a leverage that I'm going to give you guys. If you guys are expecting to get $180,000 because I picked title, right? I paid for title, me as the buyer. That's going to put a little more net proceeds in at your closing. So the day that you go, the buyer, you guys, the sellers, go to your closing, you're going to probably walk away with $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 more. So it's the same thing as offering more, isn't it? It's the same identical thing. It's a bidding war out there. I've seen realtors offer anywhere from $10,000, $50,000, $75,000, $150,000 more. And guess what? They haven't gotten it. They haven't gotten it. So structure your deal correctly, your offer correctly, and show value to your to the seller. So yeah, by buyer picks title, that means that they're going to pay for a couple, they're going to net $3,000-4,000, a little bit more, depending on the sales price of the home, correct? But at the same token, it's a tax, it's a write-off for you. It's not like if you bought the house for, let's say, $350 and you offered $360 at it, well, you're up paying $360 for it. But if I paid it as a buyer pick title, it's an expense to me. It's a write-off to me. So you got to look at it, how do you as a buyer benefit from that? As a buyer, the buyer benefits from that. Instead of offering more, put in their buyer picks title.
It's definitely a way of negotiation.
Precisely, leverage.
Yes, of negotiation and making your offer more appealing than the others.
Precisely.
So let's go into some of the things that you should expect on the closing disclosure. Some of the title fees is the settlement fee. A settlement fee is what the title company charges you to clean title. So that's for doing business with each of the clients. So they'll charge a settlement fee to the buyer as well to the sellers. It goes on both sides.
Just click on it.
Oh, we're not on the app anymore.
No, because you have a timer on there.
Oh.
Turning off.
Something else that you should expect on the seller's net sheet is a transfer tax fee. This is in Florida, the transfer tax fee is based on the sales price. This always the seller pays. Another thing that you should expect is a lien search. These are unrecorded issues. This you'll see if the property has past due utilities, any open permits, or any open liens. Again, these are unrecorded. On the title search, you'll see the recorded issues. The payoff will come up on the title commitment, on the title search. All of these conditions must be cleared prior to closing. We let the buyers know everything that came up on the title commitment, and we let the listing agent as well to know to let your clients of all the conditions that need to be cleared.
That comes out like the lien search. Here's something else also, talking about title policies that she mentioned. Here's something, a little rule of thumb or a little knowledge that you guys just click on that. You should know, okay? There are different title policies, okay? There is a lender's policy. Okay, let me ask the title agents here, for example. Will a lender close on a property or fund on a property without a lender's title policy?
No.
Did you guys you heard that question? One more time. What was it? Will they or will they not close on it?
They will not.
You want to know why the answer is no? Because since they are putting the big bucks in, they are funding it, they want to make sure that that title is clear of everything. So there must be a lender's title policy, correct or not?
That's right.
One more time. Will a lender fund a closing? I don't care if it's FHA, I don't care what lender it is. Will they close on a mortgage without a lender's title policy?
No.
There you go. Now, here's to give you guys a tip. Will the lender's title policy cover the buyer?
No.
Okay, so you guys need to educate your buyer, because if I'm the buyer, I would want you guys to educate me on this here. If I am putting $100,000 down, $20,000 down, let me tell you guys something, $10,000 down is equivalent to some other individuals putting $2 million down. Because somebody that has saved, worked really hard for $10,000, that's the end of the world for them. That's a lot of money. So someone who's putting $2 million or $200,000, it's whatever status that you're at, financially. Okay, so we need to ask. We should tell the title company. Okay, we want a buyer's title policy. I know that I would not close if the lender, because the lender's title policy only covers the lender of any title defects, correct? But the title policy that I care about, me as a buyer, me as an investor, me on any home that I buy, you know what it's called? A buyer's title policy. I want any defect that shows up, correct? Any defect that shows up, I want to be covered because I put $500,000 down. I put $1 million down. I bought the property cash. So I want a buyer's title policy. I want a buyer's title policy. So that's something that lenders don't know about. Realtors don't know about, but they don't know how to educate their buyers, because if something comes up, I mean, we have a major issue. And things do come up. They come up all the time. I had a conversation with the realtor out of Dade County today before I got here that I shared it with you. That came up. She bought a beautiful home in a very nice area of Dade County, and she didn't know about these violations and so forth. They do come up. Yeah. So why don't we do something? Why don't we protect our buyer? Protect your money. You know, I mean the buyer's money. So that's called a buyer's?
Owners.
An owner, sorry, there you
go.
Owner's title policy.
That's
it's called an owner's title policy.
Yep.
Okay? So remember, that's something that you want to educate your buyer. Okay, sir, ma'am, folks, you really don't want to close without that. This is what protects your home, and this is what protects the money that you put down. And in some cases, they're putting a lot of money down. They're putting a couple $100,000 down. You know, so I mean, it's a must. In my book, it's a must. You know, and I tell them, okay, if you don't get it, you're on your own. Don't come see me afterwards if something pops up. You know what I mean? Because I pre-warn you. And then I'm probably going to send you a text. Hey, I really recommend you get the owner's title policy. So if something does come up, correct? You're not going to say, well, you know what, my lender, I'm sorry, my realtor never told me about it. Really? I said, good morning. How are you today? I really recommend, thank you for, you know, and I'll put it in writing. I'll leave it there to protect myself. We are in the contractual world, guys. Everything that we do is contracts. Where do contracts get cleared up at? Court. They all get cleared up in court. So we need to do our jobs professionally and correct.
Right. It's also very important to know what is on the closing disclosure. That way, you should be looking at when the title company sends you the closing disclosure, you as an agent should know how to read it.
Yes.
Because you want to make sure that your commission is on there correctly, that everything is on there correctly, because yes, we're in the business of customer service, but do you want to get paid what you deserve? Absolutely. So if you don't turn in a DA to letting the title company that you're getting 3% and the buyer's agent is getting something else, you want to be crystal clear on your DA how you are getting paid. You're going to put your transaction fee in there. You are going to put in exactly what your commission is. And before you're sending it to your client, you want to make sure that your commission is correct. So us as title company, it does not go into closing until the agent that referred us the deal made sure and approved and is okay with the closing disclosure. And then if you approve it, we'll go ahead and send it to the client.
Okay, that is us. Now let me tell you about some other title companies that are out there. They will not send it to the realtor. They'll only send it to the client. That one drives me up the wall, man.
It drives me crazy.
That one drives me, you know what I mean, up the wall? Okay, here's the thing, guys. You are responsible to take a look at that CD, okay? Because a lot of times, some of these not too diligent title agencies they've got everything's programmed already, the CD's programmed, and then there's certain fees in there that they forgot to move over, right? And what happens is, if you guys don't know what you're doing, they're gonna have fees that belong to the seller. You represent the buyer in this case. There are fees that belong to the seller, and they're on the buyer's column, and you guys don't know about it, and your poor buyer, who really knows less than you do because you're the licensee, they're not. They're depending on you. So that's why I want to know a CD from back to bottom. I want to know everything there is to know about real estate, because that's why I've been in real estate so long. I've done testimonials with ladies. They're 87, 89 years old. They are still selling real estate. They're not at the unemployment line. They're not at the Social Security line. I've got one gentleman, 40 years. You met him. I'm dying to bring him over here with me. Jose Carrera. He was one of my idols when I first started in real estate, and he's still selling real estate. Trust me, he doesn't live off SSI, and he doesn't live off Social Security. That's the worst thing in the planet. Do they pay a lot? They don't. And one of the best things about being a realtor is that we're always active. Healthy body, healthy mind. We're doing things productive. We're making money. Even if we don't need the money, give it to your kids. Give it to your grandchildren. Give it to your great-grandchildren. I don't know. Go on vacation as much as you want. But be active. The worst thing you could do is sit, what, in a chair, in a rocking chair there. Oh, my God. That's like deteriorating. So you guys need to know every aspect. And in order to make it to have a long-term career like that, you have to know every aspect, like I do, of the real estate world. And we give you guys all of these tools to know this. So you need to learn how to read a CD, so you'll know that that fee belongs on the seller side. And I can't tell you how many times we've contacted the other title agency, and the title agency has said, oops, oh my God, it was a mistake. Thank you. Can you just move it over? Thank you.
Guys, mistake costs you a lot of money.
Yeah.
You do not want Ismael doing a commission waiver for you guys. We work really hard for you guys, this money, and we want you to be successful. You earn that money. So, you need to know these steps. That way, everybody is happy at the end, and you guys, at the end of the day, are having a successful closing.
Yeah, and you don't want your clients bringing additional money to the closing table from those mistakes as well too. So if you guys deal with one of those title agencies that will not send you the CD, just ask your clients to send it to you first. But tell them not to sign anything until you see it, and make sure that everything is accurate on there. Now, let's say that you are not really sharp and keen on it yet. What are you guys gonna do? See any of us. Bring it to us. Let us read it for you. Let us make sure it's fine. You know what I mean? We are not going to charge you, or at least, no, we're not charging you guys.
Guys, I personally do all the closing here at Partnership. So, I mean, I like to explain to the clients, that way they're crystal clear of what they're signing. I don't want them to be like, oh, I signed and I wasn't clear. So the first thing that once I go into closings, the first thing I say is, have you guys looked at the numbers? And like I said earlier, some agents say, some clients say, no, I haven't seen the numbers.
It's terrible.
This is like the most important sale of your life. How have you not seen the numbers? Yeah. I can't show up to a closing. I need to know, personally. Like, I need to know exactly how much I'm going to make, everything. So as an agent, you should definitely go over with the clients, make sure that these kind of issues are not coming up at the closing table. But us, as the title companies, we don't mind to explain it, just in case there's something that you have a question on, or give me a call and I'll run it by you. You want to look like the expert.
I went to a closing in Dade County some years ago, and it was with an attorney, very arrogant individual, and the attorney didn't speak Spanish. I speak perfect Spanish. Do you mind if I go over it with you? And my clients don't speak English, but do you mind if we go over it so we can let them know what they're signing? The guy goes, I don't have time for that. I swear to you, it's a true story, okay? I don't have time for that. I go, okay, can I at least look at the package first before they sign it, okay? And he goes, I don't have time, the guy was very arrogant. I look at it, it looked perfect. I go, listen, I could do this for you. You can go back to work. I swear to you, I'm very sarcastic. I told him like that. You can go back to work. I will explain everything to him, and I'll have everything signed. You just need to come back and notarize everything. The guy goes, oh no, I can't do that. I want to do this, blah, blah, blah. So what I told my client was, listen, I already looked at it. Please sign it blindfoldedly. When we leave from here, we'll go to the nearest restaurant, which I think it was a Denny's, or not a Wendy's. The Denny's was that breakfast place, Denny's. And we went over there, and you know what I did? I sat down with them, and I went over paper per page, per page, per page, and I went over the entire CD all over again. All over again. Why? Because my clients need to know what they're signing. So that you guys need to be like that,
You guys want to be knowledgeable. That way you love what you do.
Exactly.
I mean, I come to work and I love what I do every single day. Like, I wake up and to me it's a passion. It's my career. I wake up and I don't think, oh, I have to go to work. Like, I honestly wake up and I'm like, God, thank you for to have what I have, and I come to work happy. To me it's a career.
Yes, and our office, not for nothing, we have a pretty fun office, so You guys know that.
Come on over. You'll see all the spider webs right now.
Oh, I know. I want you guys to do that in the rest of the
We're gonna do
office.
it.
I want
promise
spider
we'll
webs
do it.
everywhere.
What can we wrap? No, I just wanted to let you guys know again, once again, that we will be hosting title classes, Title Thursdays, and so let's go eat.
So the next day, we're going to go have lunch. I want to see you guys all over there because I already seen a few of the, I'm not going to say names, Leslie, looking at me with her cross eyes. She's dying. It's lunchtime for her. I already see her. I already know what that means. Like, I'm ready for lunch. But our next class, next Thursday, is Q&As. I know that you guys don't have the questions yet. Look them up. Look them up. Find about them. Even if it's the silliest question, guys, you need to learn every single corner, every single aspect from A to Z about real estate. You must know it in order to become a successful realtor. There's no reason why you cannot be a successful realtor. There's absolutely no reason, you know. So thanks again for the class,
Yes,
and
thank
we'll see you guys
you.
at lunch.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.